Live. Okay, there we are. Right, okay, who are you or what's your name?
I'm Sarah Kierstead. This is Teddy.
I'm Reagan.
And I'm Matt.
Matt. And how old are you, Reagan?
6.
And how old's your brother?
8.
He just turned 8.
All right. Okay, so let's go all the way back to when you... Do you have any other children?
Yeah, we have a little girl named Mickey, and she's 2.
And
I'm
she's
Vaxxed.
2. And who's looking after someone?
My mom.
Yeah.
Thanks, Annie.
Thanks, Mummy. Okay, so let's talk about you guys, because I think important. Were you guys anti-vaccine before you had your children?
No.
We just didn't know what we didn't know, honestly.
I didn't think anything of it. It's something that you go to the doctor's office and they say, oh, you have shots today. Just give them Tylenol afterwards. Yeah, that's it.
So you did everything you were told to do?
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't think anything about it. I wasn't...
Yeah. Doctor says it's time for shots. It's time for shots.
Shots.
It's the best thing for your kids, right? That's what you think.
I don't know who that is.
So when you were pregnant with him, he was your eldest child.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get vaccinated while you were pregnant?
I don't think so.
No.
I was sick, so I had the Zofran pump, and that's about it. I mean, delivered at 39 weeks.
Wait, what does that mean? What pump?
Zofran.
I don't know
It's
what
like,
that means.
Anti-nausea medicine, and I got sick so much they gave me this. So a woman came to my house and she showed me how to stick myself basically every day with like this needle. And
You've stuck a needle in yourself every day?
every day, either on the top of my thigh or my stomach. And then I had a fanny pack on that was super cool that had medicine in it. And every time I thought I was going to get sick, I pushed a button and
What was in there?
Zofran, which is supposed to be, help you not get sick, but they had me...
Have you looked up what that is?
All I know is that it was... Now I know better to look stuff up, but before I just, you just listen to the doc and that's it.
Yeah, I think they started. Didn't they start you on like Zofran, just regular like pill?
Yeah.
And they decided it was happening too often, so the pump was going to be the best solution.
I was on it for a good 2 months, probably.
Yeah.
All right, wow, okay. So, and then he's born.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he's born, how was the labour? All good?
Okay.
And what's he like when he's born? Do you look at your baby and think, oh my gosh, something's really badly wrong with him?
No,
I don't really remember when he was born because
But you do.
I do.
The doctor
Yeah.
came in and gave me an Ambien right before when I got there. And
Wait, and I don't know what that is.
an
either.
Ambien
Like
is a
sleeping
sleeping
medicine.
pill. Like the strongest.
Why would he give you one of those?
I have no idea, but they walked in, she gave me an Ambien and said, it'll be a long night. Your delivery is going to take a while, so go to sleep tonight. Tomorrow's a big day. And she gave me an Ambien, and she opened the door, and my water broke. Like on its own then. So I
So
had
now
to
what
fight through an
happened?
Ambien the entire night. I was fighting an Ambien to stay awake and to, give birth. And I don't remember anything. I don't remember the experience at all because I was fighting a sleeping pill. But other
That's
than that,
awful.
it's horrible.
Okay, so you gave birth, you remember.
I remember.
And what was he like, this little boy that you were holding? They said, this is your son.
He was great. He was perfect and healthy and wide-eyed, and he kind of looked like me right away. I thought, anyway.
I think he was a little jaundiced too.
Yeah.
Well, did he have vitamin K
Yep.
and Hep B?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the eye gel stuff they put
Right.
all over, and
Yeah.
all the medicine stuff they do. You just kind of follow their lead, especially first-time parents. You don't know anything. You just listen to anything the doctor says. You don't realize that they're paid for every little medicine they push on you.
So you go home, and how does he develop?
Well, so we started noticing right away his immune system wasn't great. So about 5 weeks old, he spikes a fever, which is not normal.
No.
And he ends up in the emergency room. And
Well, keep in mind, 2 days before, he started developing an hemangioma or an AV malformation on his back right here. And it showed up between 5 and 7 weeks or something.
yeah, like right about the time that he had the emergency room.
I don't know. That's a weird person.
And so he ends up in the emergency room at 5 weeks and spends maybe 3 or 4 days in there. And, a month later, he shows up for his appointment at the pediatrician, and we wrote it down, but how many shots? 6 shots at 2 months?
Yeah, well, oh yeah.
Even though they knew his immune system wasn't good. And now we've researched since that hemangioma, those blood clusters, that's a sign that
That they have
vaccines
a,
can be dangerous.
Right.
We didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
they can't detox as efficiently, allowing the buildup of toxic waste products put in vaccines to linger in your child's body, harming them more. When we learn about epigenetics, the more we see why it's important for these children to have medical vaccine exemptions filed and why no medical mandates should be made. Hemangiomas occur in 2 to 10% of children and are also a sign that the child may have an NTHFR mutation, resulting in these markings. NTHFR mutations are linked to spina bifida and many other health problems.
Right.
So if you or someone you know has one, warn them to think twice about getting vaccinated because they can't detox it out. So,
Obviously, stuff we've learned later.
yeah, and he does have an MTHFR genetic mutation that we just found out about 9 months ago when we did the 23andMe. He has an A1298C, so it's like the 4th worst out of 6. But you know, before they vaccinate, they need to be asking you. It even says on all the papers, do not get this if you have an allergy. How do we know if our kids have allergies if they're not going to allergy test them, you know, when they're born or whatever? You just don't know.
But even if he didn't, would you vaccinate? Would you risk it with your boy?
Not now. Knowing what I know now, heck no.
That's why our 2-year-old, she just doesn't get her vaccination. She just started kindergarten this year, and you know, one of the first things they tell you is it's time for your shots. Is kindergarten.
You get a shot in the mail. It says it's mandatory.
And you know,
it's not.
We know better now, and she didn't get those shots.
Right. So they tell you that it's mandatory. Basically, they try and find when it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys are wised up. You know the deal now.
Yeah.
All right. So so carry on with your story.
So he goes to the hospital. He's in there 3-4 days. They have no idea what it was, and it was around the time that H1N1, like swine flu, was going around.
Not
so
again.
I know.
Yeah.
So they had all the rooms blocked off. He did not test positive for that, but they had no idea what it was, and they still don't. Mm-hmm. They actually even had the wrong doctor typed in their system. We got the whole thing was a complete mess up.
Yeah.
But then after that, let's see here. 4 months came. We told them that he was fussy for 4 weeks, not sleeping, not eating, just really fussy. And they still gave him 6 shots that day. Do
you know what he had?
Yeah, he had Pediarix, whatever that is, Prevnar, Hib, Rota, DTaP, polio.
That's a lot of vaccines.
Yeah.
Hep B.
We just recently, about 3 weeks ago, because we've been exploring other options and trying to heal him. So, in an effort to get to a good biomedical doctor, we needed to get all his medical records. So we've been reading over this stuff for the last 3 weeks for the first time and kind of seeing. And kind of the common theme we're finding is, you know, he'd be vaccinated and then he'd be unhealthy. He'd get sick. Mm-hmm. Well, he'd go back in there, and our thought probably at the time was he's sick, so these vaccines are helping him. It's not just preventative. It's probably helping him, and you know, we just didn't know better. So he's getting sick from the vaccines, and then he's being vaccinated, and we keep thinking every time this is we're healing him, and we're. You know.
Isn't it interesting though, as parents, how we don't know the vaccines that we gave our children?
It makes me sick.
Until 3 weeks ago, we had we couldn't have told you this stuff. Yeah.
I was a lot older than you
when
I found out what I gave my kids. So.
Yeah.
We get it. We all get it. Everybody here gets it.
Yeah. I feel like that's the one job that I'm given is my only job is to protect my children, and I failed, and I did not do that, and now he's potentially damaged, or you know, I don't even know the words to use, but he has no voice. He can't even talk, and I feel like I took that away from him because I didn't do my job.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, you're one of millions worldwide that was lied to in this great big brainwashing marketing campaign that we all fell for. So you cannot think like that, because we're all the same. So somebody must have been really, really, really good at this for so many of us to fall for it. And it goes way back to when we were in school and all those kind of things.
The doctor even said, I would give my kid 2 of them if I could in a day. That's how much he was like pro-vaccine.
Lying. They're disgusting.
But then he went on to his 12-month appointment. He got the MMR, Varivax, Prevnar, H&H. What is H&H?
H1, do you mean H1N1?
Oh, is that what H&H is? Oh, I didn't know what that was. H&H and Hep A.
HNA.
Yeah.
HN, is that all it says? Just H.
H and H.
Oh, H and H. Don't know, peeps. What's that? There. Look at that. What's H and H?
You can't even read the words on all of his medical records.
What is H and H?
Yep, we didn't know. We still don't know what that is.
Yeah, she's probably right.
Oh, it's the two hep titers. Of course, they're thinking it may be the two heps. Where does it say that?
Well, if you look,
It's their way of saying no, because there's hep B.
yeah, there's both the heps.
No,
are
what
on
is
there.
that H and H, peeps? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
It's not hep A, hep B. That's individually written down, guys.
Yeah.
So let me just help you out here. So you got the D tap. Look, there you go. They're all written out, and then there's an H and H, which he had. He had two H and H's.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
And that's shame on
And
us
to be
for
honest
not
with you,
asking.
these people don't either, which is actually petrifying.
It
Yeah.
is really scary.
Okay.
You can't read a word on these, on any of these.
No.
Someone's saying it may be a blood count. I don't know. Okay, we don't know. All right, well, someone will find out for you.
It's with his vaccine stuff, though.
I know it's on the vaccine records, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's not a blood test. It's on the. If there's a vaccine record, and that's part of the vaccines.
So, 12 months, he gets the MMR, Varivax, Prevnar, H&H, and Hep A. And we told him that he had been congested still. And then 13 months, we go and we told him for the past almost 4 weeks, basically right after the 12-month appointment, he started getting ear infections really bad. Not eating. He said it was a sinus infection. They gave him another round of amoxicillin. By then, he had already gotten like 3 rounds of amoxicillin. So we were killing his gut and didn't realize it either.
Was he getting ear infections?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he had like 6.
Infections, strep.
He had
Although
strep 6 times.
He ended up. We ended up finding out he had swollen tonsils. So the strep we were, and it very well could be that was a result of that. But when we go back and look at his medical records, every time after the vaccines, he's sick for weeks. And I mean,
Now, did your unvaccinated child have any ear infections?
No. She's perfect health.
Come on, peeps, write that down in our study. Vaccinated child, ear infections. Unvaccinated child, no ear infections. Okay, moving on.
Okay, so then we went back at 15 months and we told them the congestion, the runny nose, it was going on for 2 months. So I went back to 13 months and I said that it was going on for 4 weeks. So technically it had gone for 15 months, it had gone on for 3 months since his 12-month vaccines. So,
and by the way, so we're 15 months. Didn't we just looked at earlier today? We wrote down that he had about 17 to 20 words he was speaking. You know, I mean, all children develop differently, but he was speaking. You know,
Yeah.
he had his words.
That's okay. I don't know whose it is. Sorry.
And then these 15, and then was it 15 and 16 month? He had within the course of 2 months he had.
what month was that? Yeah, well that was right after a couple months. He had vaccines on 12. Wait, what month are we in? What year are we in? What year was that?
2011. So 2000.
Yeah, at the beginning of 2011.
Yeah.
And December of 2010, he had 1, 2, 3, 4 different shots, including the flu shot. That was the first time he got the flu shot, and the only time. And after that, we went back at 18 months, and he had like really gone downhill in his eating. So we had a lot of feeding concerns. And
his speech was regressing, and we were noticing it pretty quickly.
yeah, it was. So then we go back in April, 19 months. He had a fever, pink eye, coughing, vomiting, chronic snoring, sleep apnea. It's a dinosaur. Chronic snoring. They gave us another round of amoxicillin. By then, we were probably 6 amoxicillins at that point, and he was only 19 months old.
Mm.
So then they refer us to the ENT. And between the ENT visit, he had another ear infection, more amoxicillin. And then the day of his 2nd birthday, they decided to do a tonsillectomy, adenoidectomy, and tubes in his ears. And his speech had slowly started declining going into that, and they just kept saying, oh, his tonsils are so big, he can't say the words. So that's kind of the story.
His tonsils. Oh gosh, come on! This has got to be one for our book. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
This is what we have been. This is honestly the story that we've told family and friends and everybody, because it's a story that they have told us. They said, "Well, his tonsils are what did this. It was his tonsils that got him to stop talking. It was his tonsils. It is whatever." So then,
all because of his tonsils, he lost his speech and regressed into this state.
right,
Yeah.
and he had sensory issues too. Like he did not wear shoes for a good 3 months. He would line up some things. What else would he do? You know, he was just kind of, he had some symptoms like autism, but they never diagnosed it. They still don't. He's been evaluated.
By the way, to
3,
this
4
day, he
times.
has no official diagnosis of any kind.
Still, not even a practice.
So he's just a non-verbal.
He's just a nonverbal 8-year-old boy.
Mhm.
That's it.
That's so petrified. Of
It is.
all
He's had CAT scans, MRIs, EEGs, because we think we've seen seizure-like activity.
Like absent seizures.
We have no diagnosis of any kind.
You've just been left on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So after his surgery, he woke up. They had to stay the night just because he was 2, and he really had not spoken a word since after that. He had a couple like breakthrough words that you would randomly hear, like if you walked in the door and you said "hey," he would say "hey" real quick, but he couldn't say it again. But that stopped, and then at 25 months, a month after that, Matt took him into the doctor, and Matt expressed concerns about possible autistic traits, and he asked the doc, and the doc said, "No, he's social. He's
fine.
he understands a lot."
His speech will
How
snap
long
back.
ago was this?
That was
is
at
the
25
day-
months.
Yeah,
so
this is
it's a month after his 2nd birthday, and he's 8 now.
And now they're still saying the same thing.
They tell us that it's medical-induced trauma
From
because he had strep so many times that looking in his throat and making him gag that much made him scared of doctors and doctors' offices, and therefore when he woke up from the surgery and your throat is scabbed over, that it made him scared to use his voice.
so he's selective mute.
Right, even though he
Actually,
doesn't talk to
that
us.
was the behavioral specialist at Cincinnati Children's told us. They said 2 things. Neither one of them was a diagnosis. They were just trying to explain what's going on with him. They said selective mutism and apraxia.
How?
No, they said selective mutism and anxiety.
Oh, that's right, anxiety.
They said they thought it was a subconscious anxiety and wanted to put him on Prozac. And I said, they were like, "We know there's a stigma with Prozac. You know, people do use it for different things, for migraines, for this, for that. But you should really try it for him." And I'm like,
By that
I'm not
point-
putting my 5-year-old
Yeah, he was 5 at the
on.
time.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
by
doing
then,
that.
he'd just been pumped full of so much crap that we just couldn't even do it.
It's a real insult to both of your intelligence,
Yeah,
the way that these people are treating you both.
no kidding.
I'm sorry that he went through it. I'm so glad you guys didn't put him on that Prozac.
Mhm.
Me too. So we
too.
started going, this biomedical route, and it's helped immensely. We took away, dairy and
It's cost you a fortune as well.
oh yeah.
Costs a lot.
Super, yeah, because insurance doesn't cover anything because he has no diagnosis. Speech therapy isn't even covered. I mean, he has a good job and good insurance, and they won't cover any speech therapy no matter how many appeals we do, no matter how many doctor.
Was it 3 years old? At 3 years old, they stopped covering speech therapy, basically.
They said he can get it in public school by then. And we're like, the kid down the street can't say their R's right, but they get it twice a week.
He's in school,
Yeah.
public school. Is he okay there?
Yeah, he spends half his day in the mainstream 2nd grade class for like special activities, and the other half of the day in the resource therapy room. And he does really well. He hardly needs an aid. He's
Does he have fillings in his mouth?
Yeah. What do you know?
no, he does not have any
Well, not
amalgams. He has
fillings.
a stainless steel cap,
Okay.
but no amalgams. Heck no. But they do put amalgams in kids' mouth, and that
Wait, didn't he have one and it was
no,
removed for
we
his...
thought so we thought he had an amalgam, and I took him to there's a doctor right down the street that is a mercury-free dentist. Took him there, and they did some X-rays, and I'm like, I know there's an amalgam, we have to get it out. And I showed him the paperwork from when he had it done, and we did the X-ray, and there was no amalgam. So I called the office that did it, and they said that they just mark it that way for insurance reasons to get away with it. So like she was basically saying we commit insurance fraud just so it gets covered. I'm like, oh well, way to freak me out.
Is there anybody telling the truth anywhere?
Nowhere.
In this medical companies of any kind?
Nope.
Now, what about you? Have you had any vaccines?
No.
No,
Well,
she's had some.
Yeah.
She had some until she was about 18 months, maybe.
Yeah, I think those were her last ones.
Those were her last
maybe
ones.
2 years old.
But she's done.
Yeah,
she's
She
done.
looks pretty
Heck no.
healthy to me.
She is.
But yeah, Teddy, we've done the 23andMe now. We see that he has genetic mutation that makes it hard for his body to detox.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they don't give everyone an MTHFR test.
But you see, that worries me. Because I've also interviewed people that do not have that and are injured.
Oh, totally.
So I would hate for people to think that they're safe.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I don't think that
Yeah.
necessarily means that. I just think if you have it, it makes it harder to detox. But you could definitely not have it and still have it. But
Are you angry, guys?
Oh, yeah.
extremely angry?
we're-
Yeah, you should be.
I don't know-
Frustrated, I
yeah,
think is the right word. Frustrated. We just didn't know what we didn't know, and we would just do it differently.
we do everything different. You go into the doctor's office and they sit there and tell you, do you really want your kid? Well, when we asked the one doctor, I asked her, I said, how do you actually feel about vaccines? She said, well, the medical world and researchers get better every day. So there's always going to be new data and new stuff coming out, and we just have to go with it because that's, we're doctors and they tell us what to do and we're supposed to follow it. I'm like, this is crazy to me. Vaccines are like the tobacco science of our time. You know what I mean? Like 40 years ago, smoking when you were
Smoking
pregnant was
healthy.
fine. It was
Yeah.
good. But now it's like vaccines, it's, they all want to scream about herd immunity. I'm not going to set my child on fire to keep yours warm, first of all. And second of all, there's no such thing as herd immunity. You have to have 95% of the population for that to work. And the majority of the population is adults. And the majority of adults are not up to date on their shots. It's insane to me. The whole thing. It's stupid, and I feel responsible, but it's these doctors that don't tell any parents what's real and what's not. You ask for the insert and they tell you that they don't have it or they threw it away.
At a minimum, it feels like it should be we have a vaccine schedule, and you can vaccinate your kids, and here are the risks. But that's not how it happens. It happens where you bring your kids, especially the new parent, like we were with Teddy. We bring our 12-month-old baby, or actually in this case a 2-month-old baby in, and it's time for your shots. And at the time with no knowledge of what this does, we would have to have a lot of nerve to say no, and that's the frustrating part.
They look at you and they'll make you sign something and they'll tell you that do you really want to do this? You can give him something. You can give him a shot that could prevent something he could get, or he can walk out of here and get it. I'm like, that's not really how that works, but that's what they do. They bully you and they intimidate you.
So do you stay away from all these people now?
Yeah, we try to. I mean,
there's great chiropractor here.
I know. I
Yeah,
just met
I know.
one of them.
We're gonna get involved with that too.
We stopped going to well visits actually, and
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got in a not really argument, but his hands and his feet were peeling like for the past 2 months, and everything that I researched led me to a strep virus, and it manifests itself differently in people. Took him to the doctor, and I asked her a strep test, and she kind of laughed at me. She said, "No, these things come and go. No." And then 2 months later, my daughter apparently tested positive for strep, with showing no signs of it. And then his hands and feet got worse. So I took him back in, and he was like, "Yeah, I see where the other doctor, she said no, that you said the same thing. And I'll go ahead and do the strep test to put your mind at ease. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and write up the referral for the dermatologist, because that's who you really need to go to, because I don't know what it is." And he brings up his phone and goes through all these different things that look nothing like what's going on. He's like, "I don't know what it is, so let's let the dermatologist figure it out." And I was like, "You don't know what it is. I know what it is." And he started laughing, and he was like, "All right, well, I'll get the referral ready while the strep test is, whatever it does, however long it takes." And he comes back in 10 minutes later, and he's like, "You were right. It was positive." And I was like, I told you. And as he's sitting there writing, and I hate winning because it's all at the expense of him, so it sucks. But then he was sitting there writing up the prescription, and he said he's at the age now that he can have his amoxicillin just once a day. And we haven't given him amoxicillin in years, because I've been trying to heal his gut for the past 4 years. But I knew he needed it. He was like, he had deep cuts on his hands and his feet that just weren't going away. So I knew he needed it. But when he was writing the script, I said, well, why does he only get one dose a day? And he said, well, they used to do 2 doses a day, and now he's at the age and the weight where he can just get 1. I go, why do they do 2? And he goes, I knew you were going to ask that. He's like, for hundreds of years, doctors just do what they're told. He said, we do what works, and we do, what the doctor before us taught us. And he said, and we go with what works. And until one day, one doctor steps back and tries something else, and it works. And he goes, so it's as simple as that. I'm like, this is exactly what's wrong with everything. Everyone is just following the book, following Big Pharma, doing exactly what they're told, without actually trying to help their patients at all. It's all money making. It's terrible.
It's terrible. I'm so sorry for him.
They just they also tell us that one day he'll just wake up and start talking.
Yeah, we've been hearing that.
Who
for
says
years.
that? The doctors.
All of them.
We've been hearing that for years.
Still to this day. They've told us that for how many years? 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
They think one day he'll wake up and just start talking.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this hope one day that, maybe he's gonna talk. Maybe he'll talk.
Yeah, which when we first started expressing concern that he lost his voice, it was maybe a little after 2.5 years old, where he just stopped talking. That's when we first started hearing that. So maybe at the time, if there was something we could have done right away after the vaccines, we just didn't, because that's what we were told. This is fairly normal, so he'll probably just wake up from this. And
they still call it medical induced trauma. Still.
Well, can you sue them for medical induced trauma?
I know, right?
Right.
These guys are mad as hatters.
Yeah. So we had an EEG done back in May when we thought we saw an absence seizure, and it was a 24-hour one, and they called us 4 hours after we left, and they told us that they saw very rare brain waves coming from the left side of his brain, the speech center, or whatever she said. And I just wanted to go ahead and start him on epileptic meds or something.
They wanted to.
Yeah, even though they didn't see any seizure at all. They said it indicates seizure activity. So I said, I'd like to see the doctor before that. So we went in and talked to him, and we brought up vaccines, and he started just going off. It would turn into an hour-and-a-half conversation. He said we can go to Colorado and talk to the natural doctors out there, but he doesn't believe in that stuff, and it just went on and on. He said vaccines don't harm anybody, that it's a proven fact, it doesn't. And
we've just done 2 stories today where they've won in vaccine court.
Yeah. I know.
About what?
That's what we
with
we
the
tell
flu
them.
vaccine.
Yeah,
I know.
Vaccines calling.
I know,
That's
and
what we
even
tell them.
Sid's
That
case
there's
last week, or whatever that
billions
was.
of dollars being paid in the vaccine court, but they're
Yeah, they
And
look at us like
look at
we're
the insert.
yeah.
They try to look at you as soon as you bring up vaccines, and they try to laugh or like raise their eyebrows to make you feel stupid and dumb. But the second you come back with them that you're like educated, they shut down because they don't even know what you're talking about. I feel
They
like
have
they're
no
not,
idea.
No clue.
That's scary.
It's petrifying.
Yeah.
They want to say, oh, everything that's in the vaccines is stuff you eat. Like that's in a pear. That's in a like. There's a big difference between injection and ingestion. There's a huge difference. If I'm not going to put it in a cup and drink it, I'm not going to shove it in my veins. Like that's, I don't know. The whole thing is so messed up. But the neurologist told us that yeah, hang on.
He's so cute. What does he just say? He wants to go.
Sometimes he just tells us, where do you want to go? You want to get out?
Get down. You can get down. Come back here.
Can I go back
We totally most of the time know what he's saying.
Come back
He
here.
communicates really well.
Is he on a special diet?
Can
Yeah,
you,
well,
like,
he
grab a
gets-
piece of paper?
No dairy, no gluten. He will occasionally get a tiny bit. No like dyes.
Color in that cooler.
Yeah. He wants to sit back here.
He's 8 years old. It just breaks my heart.
I know.
Absolutely makes me
I know.
weep.
It's scary because I feel like there's this time frame that your kids are still developing, and you have to heal them before a certain time. So I always feel like that window is closing, and the guilt and it's so overwhelming. Sometimes it gets the best thing that I can't. Like I feel like I can't breathe.
Do you think we're the only parents in the world that dreads the birthday of our injured children?
Oh my gosh. I was bawling my eyes out
I know.
2 weeks ago. He just turned 8. I was bawling my eyes out on the first day of school. 2 days later was his birthday. I was a mess. And my mom and dad were like, what's wrong? When I got back from dropping him off. And I said, they're like, oh, every parent cries. I said, it's not that. It just reminds me that it's another year that he's not talking. Another year. And you know, years ago you sit there and you're like, oh, by 7, by 6, he'll definitely be talking. By kindergarten, for sure. And then another year comes, another birthday comes, and it's so sad.
I know.
It's sad and it's maddening at the same time because I don't know I don't know what to do. I don't know.
And we're living in this kind of influx of hope and fear of what the future is for him, because he's 8 years old. Will he start talking soon? Hopefully. I mean, will he be nonverbal his whole life? Maybe. We don't know. And
the main thing is he's vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not him. It's the society. He's vulnerable. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, like, I pray for him all day long, I feel like, and I sometimes get lost in it, and then sometimes I get so overwhelmed in the middle of prayer, I wander off and start thinking about something else. It's so overwhelming in my brain, I can't handle it, but the only thing I want for him is for him to be able to love someone and have a...
Have the things that he should have in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand.
I want him to be able to have a family of his own.
The tragedy of vaccines.
It is, it's terrible. And you get all this false hope. Like the neurologist after the EEG told us that the medicine that we started on, he was positive that it would be the magic wand, and he thinks those brain waves, that maybe they are seizure activity, maybe they've been going on for a long time, and he thinks that it would make him start talking. So then we asked for a second and third opinion, and we went to the epileptologist, the head of the EEG department, and he told us that what he saw was so little, there's no way it's affecting his speech. And they also sit down every time we go into an appointment. They always make sure they tell us, oh, he is not autistic, just so you know. I'm like, first of all, I don't care what label they put. No one diagnoses him. And the epileptologist told us, you guys are just going to have to deal with the fact that he's never going to have a diagnosis, and you're never going to figure out what it is, and this is just your life, so you just have to get used to it and accept it. I'm like, I've already accepted that we might not have a diagnosis, but I will never accept that I can't recover him, because I know that I can. It just...
You just say he's vaccinated, like all of our children. He's vaccinated.
I just wish I would have known to detox right after.
I know, but we all wish we'd done things. We all wish we'd never given the bloody vaccine in the first place. Okay, but okay. So here's the thing: you have to hang out with us. We, as in all the people here, we are one big family.
Yeah.
Now we have to have each other's backs. His back, hers, the sibling. It's a hard life. We just sending you love.
Do you get told that it's genetics?
Oh, of course.
See,
these guys are trolls on here now saying it's in our genes, but you can't have a genetic pandemic.
No, that we got told that too. So we went to go see the genetics doctor, and we just got the results back 2 days ago. Everything was normal. Everything. And you hear that genetics loads the gun, and vaccines and environment pulls the trigger, and then you're like, I don't know, but
look, the bottom line is, the vaccines are doing this to our children. So you've stopped vaccinating, and you will see a massive improvement in health in all of you. You're going to eat healthily, and we'll do everything we can for him. Does he have bowel issues still?
He used to a little bit. He goes quite a few times a day. He just started going on the potty. I mean, he's been peeing in the potty for years, but he just started, and a little bit.
There's a lot of people with a lot of advice here for you.
We've been on.
But he's very bright, and he's brilliant on the boys. Eye contact is brilliant.
Yeah, he's very
understanding absolutely everything.
I totally think think so too.
Aren't you? I know you are.
We never know what he can understand and what he hears, and what he always asks for different vocabulary words. Like he'll pause a scene on Toy Story on his iPad, and I'll point to the bucket or the trash can, and I'll ask me what it is. I'm like, trash can, and he'll shake his head no, and I'm like, garbage, and he'll shake his head no. I'm like, wastebasket, and then he says yes. Like it waits for the right vocab word. So he's learning, but we don't know. Like one time Matt he was in the bathroom and needed a new contact case, and he was talking to himself, looking in the mirror, and he was like, I've got to get a new contact case. And Teddy jumps out of bed, goes under his dresser in a box, grabs a brand new contact case, and walks it into him. I'm like, how did he even know what that was? Like,
yeah, they're way more on the ball.
The last time he was in the bed, and then he tried to like say some stuff like he's starting with like,
Oh,
like he was like in the bed like going like,
yeah, he tries.
to be like trying to say
Oh,
stuff.
here's the kicker that doctors don't understand. We've heard him talk clearly in his sleep
Right.
before, and
Well,
no
as
one
in
knows.
proper language.
Yeah,
Really?
and no one understands it.
They call it occasionally he'll say something in context. They call it a breakout word. It's something that kind of
That's rare.
flies out, and then we get excited and ask him to repeat it, and he can't. So obviously it's borderline an accident, or maybe there's a moment of clarity, but it's very rare. It hasn't happened in a while.
So make sure you watch some of these scopes back because there's a lot of advice on there. There's a few trials on there, so as
Yeah,
always.
we've been, all those groups on Facebook, the biomedical groups, RK, all that stuff. It's so helpful.
But you have to be careful as well because a lot of people want to make money out of us, parents,
Oh, totally.
with fake treatments for our children. So if you go to the autism file, it's a free forget the name, what he's got.
Yeah.
It's free online. It's been going for 15, 20 years on there. And it's parents writing about what things that have worked and things that haven't worked.
Yeah.
And so maybe have a look at that.
Yeah.
Because just be really careful because the last thing you want is to be like the rest of us, and we tried everything, but we got terribly in
I
debt.
feel like he's just right below he used to be the sensory thing, what used to be bad. It used to be a lot worse, and it's gotten so much better. But right now, I feel like he's right under the surface.
Yeah,
He's right there. Andy Cutler says that an abnormal EEG and the rare brain waves indicate, for him at least, that what he's researched or whatever was mercury toxicity. So we've got to start healing, basically. But
well, good luck with whatever you decide to, and keep in
Thank
contact with us, okay?
Yeah, will do. Thank you
Are you
very
guys
much.
going to
You're
put out a new
lovely
doc
family.
anytime soon?
We can do what?
Are you guys going to do a new doc?
Documentary.
Oh, documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 in the making. Brian Burrows is working on one,
Oh,
which is the story of the bus and what it's uncovered, and Andy's working on a documentary as well.
That's
good.
awesome.
So
Good for you
yeah,
guys.
they have
If
2
you guys
more.
ever need any help or anything, just get at us.
Okay, well, thank
Love to
you.
help. Thank you so
you.
much for what you're
Well, keep in
doing.
contact with this little boy.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose contact with you.
Say thank you.
Bye.
Say thank
Oh, kisses. You're a beautiful boy. Okay, we have more stories, people.
Thank you.
Thank you.